Hello, and welcome to Fanime MTV. And now,
Hello.
today I'll be interviewing Gissy.
Hi, I am GissyEva. You may know me as Chippy Gissy on YouTube, or when it comes to my Fanime content, it's either like Ava Carrot Staff or the newly made Moy Blob Crap Cute. I have been around this community since like 2014. Oh my god.
My goodness. And that brings me to our first question. How did you discover Fanime?
Oh god, that's a story. So, back in the early 2010s, I was a TV tropes girly. I was heavily like on DeviantArt like during the mid not mid late 2000s, early 2010s. But like when it comes to like other sites, because apparently one person who did like this Azumanga fan comic had like their page featured on TV tropes, which is crazy. At least for me specifically, because um a fan comic that's featured on a site that's not a fandom specific website. Heyo. So I've decided to like explore around on TV tropes, mainly on like pages related to anime, webcomics, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that I think at some point when I searched up web animation, I discovered there was a page for Fanime. Now, keep in mind the initial page of how the Fanime TV tropes page was written back in the day was a little bit meaner towards it nowadays compared to how it's written nowadays. Um, but like I thought that I ended up discovering Fanime's like Nyanako Sugar Girls like via TV tropes, and I was definitely one of the people within that crowd that watched like a lot of Fanime watches back in the day, back when those were still available. I do kind of feel bad saying that now, but that's how it was back then.
Oh man, did you watch, what was it? Fanime Family Fun Night?
Yeah, I watched those guys.
Yeah.
I do think I know that their Fanime Let's Watches are like unlisted now. I think they realized that like oh yeah those are kind of mean.
Yeah.
I mean that's alleged though. I could be wrong.
I watched them too when I was like 12 or something. I barely remember anything of what they like said in those, but I do remember watching them watch like Blood Raining 9. That's how I found out about that fanime.
Yeah. Blood Blood Rain Night is a trip. But yeah,
Yeah.
back to the story. Um, yeah, I haven't really joined the community up until like I said, 2014. Because at the time, I wanted to make a more visual version of my at the time web novel for Penalty All About, because it was initially just a web novel. I initially wanted to make it a webcomic, but I had no plans whatsoever. I posted it on DeviantArt. It was, I didn't plan things through. I was only relying on my imagination and what was written in the initial web novel. So that makes it an all-around ass disaster of a webcomic.
Oh.
So that's why I kind of like just turned to Fanime to make the Fanime adaptation for Penalty All About. And then I did have like some issues like waiting on VAs, so that's why I've made care flops, and then later on I've made so many one-shot animes, and then sour candy filled donuts, and then everything went downhill from there. I'm just kidding.
My
I,
oh, sorry.
I, I'm just I say everything went downhill, but I mean in the sense of like I kind of went in too deep in making a lot of series. That's what I meant to say.
You probably have the record for the most completed fanimes that a creator has. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, granted, what I did was like I do things in a visual novel style format, so I don't know if that could be considered like cheating in a way,
I
but
don't
like,
think so. I actually, my second question was, what made you start your first fanime? Penalty All About?
Yeah, like I said, it was around the time when I wanted to make the visual adaptation for Panels About. Like, I had like many ideas for it. Like initially, the webcomic, which bombed. Um, I also wanted to make like an audiobook for the initial web novel with with the visual thumbnail on YouTube to accompany it. But that also did not work out well.
Mm.
And the reason for that, because I was initially part of this one voice acting group I was in at the time called the Light Novel Brigade, where we do voice acting for light novels, mainly the Haruhi
Excuse
light
me.
novels. Oh, yeah, excuse. um, but yeah, it was like a voice acting group for like a lot of light novels, and granted, we do like other things too. Like there was like a fan dub for like that one sad scene in Clannad After Story. I don't know if I should say because spoilers. I mean, granted, I know Clannad is an old series now, but still.
Yeah, I haven't
um,
seen it.
yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. It was like it was a fan dub for a sad scene in Clannad After Story. Um,
Uh,
but like yeah, we mainly did like at the time we mainly did like fan dubs for light novels, and that's what kind of got the idea of wanting to make an audiobook for like the initial for um for the original web novel. But then I was like looking at Fanime stuff, and I think it was when I was getting into my Jungle Carrier, as well as Silk After Gallantry. Silk After Gallantry is the goat, by the way, but that's besides the point.
well,
Um, but yeah, like and then I kind of like was watching like an old friend's like playthrough of like visual novels at the time, like Higurashi and Umineko, and um I don't know if I should say this next uh visual novel because it's a Dempa visual novel, so I don't know if I should mention this in this interview. I like I think I'll just leave it at that. Like, basically, long story short, I've seen the friends visual like playthrough visual novels, as well as like that one Fanime reviews like by person who now goes by Project SNT. Uh, back when she initially did like Fanime reviews, she did like a top five Tokyo Mew Mew um Fanimes, and there's this one that looks like it's in an RPG style, which I say it's more in a visual novel style, and that's what kind of got the gears rolling of the visual style for Penalty About for making it into a visual novel style of anime. And I was like, and because of the fact I was very much into making visual novel sprites at the time, despite the fact that my artwork was so not great back then. That's why I'm just like, yeah, I like I think I could do visual novel style animes, and it was also around the time when Fanime Update was still starting too. So when my news about like wanting to make Penalty about um into a Fanime was mentioned on Fanime Update, I was just like, oh shit, yo, what up?
that is awesome.
Yeah. Although Evan did initially pronounce my name wrong, but that's besides the point.
Mm. Oh, about the light novel brigade. How did you get to joining that? Was that your first venture into voice acting?
Now, here's the thing. I didn't really got into voice acting when I first joined the group because I was there because a friend of mine was also in that group, and it was also my first Skype group that I was ever a part of. Um, I only got into voice acting as soon as somebody asked me if I could voice like one minor character in the Haruhi light novel, and then later on my first major voice role that was posted on that YouTube channel was it was like a fan dub for like Scott Pilgrim versus the animation. Before it was like years before the Scott Pilgrim anime. By the way, for all the youngins in the audience,
I remember
it
you
was like
talking about
it was like
that.
a very it was like that flash animation that was meant to promote the movie, I think.
It is a very cool dub. I like it a lot. Has a lot of
Oh,
charm
thank.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I only voiced like a minor character in that, but like yeah, I think they had a bit of a major role by voicing I mean, granted, it's still a minor role, but it's like at least it's a known character. I voiced like Hyun's sister from The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, in the in the later parts of the fan dubs for the audiobooks for the Haruhi light novels. Like initially somebody else had that role, but I guess everyone's life became busy, and I'm just like, hey, I exist.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my lore is a little bit weird. But yeah, I will say I would have finished Penalty about a little bit sooner, but again, I had like voice acting troubles. In fact, I'm not too sure if this is like a later question, but I used to have the reputation of like of somebody that has like the worst luck when it comes to VAs.
Oh wait, I remember this. I remember you talking about that. Like at
Yeah,
some point.
yeah, I used to go into rants about that. Like, holy shit.
Oh man. Pain.
Agony. My advice to anybody that wants to start making a fanime, don't start with a fanime that has like over 20 characters.
I agree. Try for something like a little bit easier on yourself, especially if you've never made like a fanime before, because then it's very easy to like get caught up in like getting really intimidated by like the large scale of the project, because that's the trap that I fell into when starting my main fanime, Maho no Boken. Because that's
I
a
gotta write this down.
2 season. Yeah! That's a two
Yeah.
season fanime. And I was 12 when starting the project, and I had never made any project like that before. No series, no nothing. So my first release fanime ended up being a very short episode 1 that was made on a whim for a 5-hour challenge.
Mm-hmm. Man, the fucking like fucking timely challenges. I could, I don't know if there's questions about that, but I could go on a rant about those, like, and how ridiculous it was, like, how there's so many of them back in the late 2010s.
Yeah, I think it was just an attempt for like a little bit more productivity, I guess, in the community, since
Yeah,
I feel like there was a little bit of a drought.
yeah, there was a drought back then. I cannot deny that.
But they're very fun.
Yeah. Well, it usually depends because sometimes we were in groups and sometimes it feels like almost daily. There's like one day it's like a 30 bit, like, well, not really daily, but feels like it's been like almost a lot that there's a lot of like timely out family challenges.
Mm.
Which is why it's probably good to do them on the occasion rather than like doing them constantly.
Yeah, I think there's talks of another one at some point, though.
Yeah, that is true. And if it's just like a one time and once in a blue moon type of deal, then I can respect that.
Mm.
Yeah.
If that does come to fruition, I actually am quite excited because I haven't participated in like a timely challenge. I think. Well, I guess the opening challenge from earlier this year counts for that. The fake opening challenge.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, but like the hourly ones, last time I did one was actually, what was it, May of last year? Yeah, because I decided to remake an challenge I did previously, like a few years before that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, and then I had this next question.
What's up? What's up?
The phone ding. So sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Good.
When working on art, do you listen to anything like music, podcast, video essays, etc.?
That usually depends, cause in terms of like working on art with like on Far Alpaca or like Capsudia Paint, cause tend to or if it's paint, cause I kind of use these things interchangeably because I'm a monster. But like when just you working on those programs specifically, I do tend to listen to either music or podcasts because I need some level of a background music. Um when it comes to like working on frames, whether it's like the VN frames or actually working on the rare occasions working on actual animation frames, I definitely need to listen to the audio of the actual thing. Um, whether it's like a part for like an MAP or I guess nowadays my multi-style music videos. But like and also like working on the frames for like my Fanime, because definitely need to think, even if I'm working on the VN frames, I do need to listen to the audio in order like of the series itself in order to figure out like what facial expression that I need to do. But if I'm like working on the general artwork or like just doing line art and coloring after I finish the sketching, I could listen to like music or podcasts. The type of music I listen to tends to range, because sometimes I feel like listening to some anime music. Sometimes I feel like listening to 80s music,
I
and then
get it.
I listen to the Mario RPG soundtrack sometimes because I'm predictable.
Banger.
Hell yeah! One of these days I'll be responsible for the Marioification of anime.
Let's see. If you had the chance to let one of your fantasies become a real anime, would you choose one?
Oh boy, that. I mean, I think out of any of my animes that I think would work as an actual anime, I think Seven Guidances to Wishful Safety would probably work as an actual anime. And if I were to choose like a studio, I think it's like a collab. I would like it to have to be a collab of like Kyoto Animation and Studio Trigger, because I think that would be super banger.
That would be so sick.
Yeah. Well, the staff at KyoAni will focus more on these slow-paced animations. Meanwhile, the Trigger staff will be like, "All right, time to go all out with the crazy."
They are very much
let's
known for
let
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And what are you currently working on?
Uh, Honestly, I'm kind of like on a bit of a sort of break, because I've worked on a lot of anime so much for the past decade or so. I think I'm on a bit of a break, but I want to get back into it. To making Fanime. I just need to figure out what to make, because
Mm.
I'm almost tempted to turn that one idea for that I have for like the fake Fanime challenge, Fanime OP challenge as an actual Fanime, because I do like the idea of it, but also I want to work on something simple. Also, I have so many ideas that I don't know what to.
Gissy, I
I'm just
understand your pain.
yeah. Like, cause I know that like there are times you want to work on Maho no Maho no Maho no Boken, but also you feel like I do like this idea, like if you were, let's say that if you like to do that thing for like that Doom Diary idea for Fanime, that you did for that OP challenge. You're just like, fuck, I want to work on that one. I like the Doom Diary, but also Maho no Maho no Maho
I
Boken.
have 2 seasons to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have definitely started projects on like impulsive projects, like totally on a whim, before even
Oh
like
boy.
working on Maho no Boken. Like I did like the concepting for Paprika's Not So Sugoi Job so fast. It was like I did the concept for it and like the writing or something in like one night or so. And then I
Mm-hmm.
made the opening and ending like in a day or like in 2 days or something.
Yeah, yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah. And then I got episode 1 done before I even planned it being done. Man. And then I ended up taking a month on the last episode.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, you did have like IRL stuff to deal with, though, right? Like,
I was not a whole lot. I mean, guess my
Oh,
general situation. Then also during that time, like every Friday, I was volunteering at a haunted house.
okay, that tracks.
Yeah, and then my internet then it was so terrible. It was so bad. This was before where I moved to where I am
I
now.
have a, no, I have a question. Was it AT&T?
I don't know.
Okay, because if it was, I'll be ready to shit on AT&T. Because there was one time around like a week ago, it was shitting on me and I was in the middle of a call with a friend too, so
Oh,
I was like extra upsetty spaghetti.
yeah, I get it. Speaking of that weekly challenge, was there anything in particular that inspired your most recent finished series, Moon Mansion Solitary?
Oh yeah. I guess we'll talk about because up until Movement Solitary, I had like plenty of other ideas. There was this one idea that was called New World Memories, but I kind of like threw that in the I don't know what the fuck to do with this title because it was basically a event series about something that was happening at the time. I'm not gonna get into that, just out of
Oh.
respect.
Mhm.
Um, and then I decided, oh, maybe I could work on Care Fluffs, which
For the
for
weekly
context, Care
challenge.
Fluffs was huh?
Except for the weekly challenge.
Yeah, and then I realized, oh wait, that's a mistake. I mean, I still would like to work on Care Fluffs, just not as a weekly challenge. Maybe as my own personal bi-weekly challenge, but
Yeah.
as like a weekly challenge, hell the fuck no.
Right.
and and then and then what inspired what now we get to the part where I actually talk about Momentum Solitary. um I think what inspired it is that I was looking at my VVMe my character design for VVMe, which because I did initially have like another idea of what I wanted to put her in, but before I decided on Momentum Solitary, it was gonna be like another type of setting additives, but we don't get into that. But um, when I looked at BBB and then I decided, mushroom maid, and then interdimensional mushroom maid, and then I got into looking up queer platonic relationships, and I thought, what if a mushroom maid and a flower folk butler got into a queer platonic relationship, and that's what kind of that's what kind of snowballed from there.
I love them. They're so cute.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Um, I was wondering, are you the kind of creator to start projects on a whim, or do you take a lot of time developing the idea? Is it a mix of those?
So it really depends on the project. Majority of my projects, yeah, they're definitely on the whim. But with some projects, like with Pedal Tail About, at least at the time, I did try my best to plan them out. Albeit I didn't do a good job of planning it out because that's what resulted into the VA situations with my VA second a while. But um, usually 9 times out of 10, I tend to go on a whim. I mean, I am trying to get better at trying to plan things out, so then my fanimes aren't exactly that weird to watch for some people. But yeah,
Mm.
like like if you Nemomiya, the chaotic hero, was definitely made on a whim. As an example, all the episodes were made on a whim, and I've made them also under a week too. After I finish an episode up until like episode 15.
Yeah, it's a
So
15 episode. It's
yeah,
15 episodes. You are insane, Jissy, and I love it. You did
honestly,
so well.
thank you. I will say this because the fact that Nemomiya had 15 episodes, I think that's what inspired uh Incel, who was previously known as Zusko, who was also previously known as T Thunderbolt, also made uh Existential Chris as 15 episodes because of the fact that she was inspired by the fact that Nemomiya was 15 episodes. So I might have caused it.
Uh oh. I remember when Mamma Mia came out, I loved it, and I also submitted a character for it.
Yeah, Yuki.
Yeah, Yuki. And then I think I've told you about this, but the one fan art of Mamma Mia I made when I was like what was I 13, and it's like her going like, "What kind of," and then swear word is this? My mom saw it, and then she was like, I got like a little bit in trouble. I got a little bit
I'm so
reprimanded for
sorry.
that.
I'm so sorry that you got in trouble.
I was
This,
like, it's in character. She just does that. It's not me saying like, I don't want you writing it out, even if it's censored.
I'm so fucking sorry that I got you in trouble. That that was one thing I was worried about when I initially was making Fanime like when I in 2015, which is why I made Sour Candy Filled Donuts to have no swearing whatsoever. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's not like I didn't get grounded, fortunately. I don't know why I would get grounded for it, but like, yeah, I was so scared. I was shaking.
I'm so sorry. God damn.
It's fine. That's just it's funny to me now. It's just a memory I have attached to Nemomia.
I bet. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh god.
Oh man. The next question I have is a little bit random and silly. Okay, you're being asked to name the Wi-Fi. What are you suggesting?
Anything that's not AT&T?
No, the name of the Wi-Fi.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I actually don't know what would be good Wi-Fi providers. I guess
You can name your Wi-Fi when you like go to select it from like the little Wi-Fi list.
as like naming your your internet thing for when you select the network.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No
I
worries.
misunderstood. If I were to name a Wi-Fi, honestly, I'll probably just name it Aquarium Magma, since that's like the name of my OC verse. Really,
Awesome.
which is where a lot of my Fanimes are connected to.
A name suggestion I've had before, because the last Wi-Fi when I lived in a different city, I got to name it, and the name that we went with was totally non-Irken based, like Invader Zim, but the other name idea I had was Nyaneka Sugar Girls Fan Club.
Lol.
My mom doesn't like Nyaneka Sugar Girls. And she hates Hitoshi singing.
I mean, I want to I guess in the perspective of like someone who wants to take a series seriously, like I could somewhat understand, but at the same time, like Nyanaka Sugar Girls is definitely like the series of
all time.
Yeah.
I've cosplayed Raku. Nyanaka Sugar Girls is what got me like into Fanime, so it has like a very like near and dear place in my heart.
I get that. I think it's sort of the same. I think what got me more into Fanime is definitely Silk After Gallantry.
Yeah.
It was like the Fanime that I personally got invested in.
I get it. Excuse
Yeah.
me. Let's see. What inspired you to create the Fanime realm?
So there's a story behind that. Fanime Web Series Gallery was inactive because I think at the time the person running the blog kind of moved on from Fanime, which is understandable. Even though that the way my mind works is that like I kind of stuck with it with Fanime for so long that might as well like make it good for newcomers basically. But yeah, that's one factor that kind of inspired me to make Fanime Realm is that like there's not much activity for Fanime web series gallery. Um, but another thing is that there's another Fanime website on NeoCities. It was like the only index at the time for Fanime. Not the index, glossary. It's an index basically, but basically it's like an index for like all the names for Fanimes. But it was names and that's it. There's like no hyperlinks to, not even for like the episodes themselves. It's just like it's just the names and nothing else for Fanime names on that list, and that what kind of got me to be like, all right, I want to make a site. I don't want to use fandom/wikia because that site sucks.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of like um made the site on NeoCities for Fanime Realm. And I've actually was trying to be prepared. Now granted, the launch date was a bit of a disaster. I tried to look up more things to help it make it more structural on desktop. um oh, hold up. Sorry, I got distracted by my sister talking to my mom in the background. But yeah, that like I actually got a lot of like articles of like the Fanimes prepared before the launch
Ooh.
date. So that's why even on launch day you see that there's a few lists of animes at the time,
Mhm.
and we're actually over 100 animes on Fanime Realm
Yay!
at the moment. Fuck
Woo!
yeah!
Woo! I know. What was it? Zariko? Tetris
Yeah,
Mayhem?
yeah. Sadiko's Tetris Mayhem. That anime was specifically made just so I could fill up the X.
So that's an example of a project on a whim.
Yeah.
It's so silly though.
Yeah. I am thinking of like working on episode 2. I just like wanted to like figure out like how I ended episodes because I'm just like putting in a lesson of how to do like one thing in Tetris that's like famous.
Mm.
You'll see once I was able to get the episode out.
Very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, sorry. Alright, and we have one last question.
Oh, okay.
Where can we find you?
Uh, on YouTube or in general?
In general, whatever you want to share.
Um, I say like on YouTube like specifically. Well, I guess we're probably in the link of the description probably, but like also if you want to look at my other socials, I do have a link tree that has the link to all my socials. So yeah.
Also,
So
sorry.
you good?
Yeah, I said the wrong word. I meant to say awesome. I'll be sure to include that in the description.
Yeah, yeah. So you have options. You could go on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. You can find me on Tumblr. Heck, if you want to find me on like some obscure sites, like I don't know, maybe like I co-host. I have yet to use that site a little bit more, but that's a thing.
On TV tropes.
I do have an account on TV Tropes. I just have yet to like properly make a profile for it. You know what I'm saying?
Fair, fair. That was a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
And that brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here, Gissy, and let me interview you.
No problem, no problem. I got caught up in so much stuff that there are some things I've yet to say, but honestly, like I know I've drawn on for long enough, so I think
It's still fun.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think it's good that we're ending the interview here, so that I don't tend to make this an hour-long interview.
Maybe we're due for a second interview at some point. I don't know.
Oh god.
Anywho, thank you so much for watching. Please tune in next time. Probably like a music video or something.
Yeah, and I hope you all have a good rest of the day, night, whenever, time zones, and take care.
Bye bye.